Hi, I'm TL Young. Welcome to Live Aloha. Today, I will be telling my story about how I bridged the gap between my old belief system and my new belief system. And I'm standing on this bridge. Get it? Bridge? Bridging the gap? Bridge? Get it? Get it?
Welcome to Live Aloha. I'm Charmane, your host of the most, and we have healing to do at H&L.
Take a deep breath. Take a long, deep breath.
You gotta breathe through your nose, bringing the light down from your crown chakra in, and blow them out through your mouth. Just a hot breath, or crown breath.
Even though he may have said he released it, we still have residue energies in him. As we ask this to be done in the now, and so it is. In the name of the Creator, the Christ-like, the Goddess-like. Amen.
Amen.
Passes our permission.
Yeah, you gotta say yes.
Well, I think when I was younger, a lot of people that don't know about me is that I've lived in a I was very shy. Very shy. I couldn't talk to anybody, but I had to just bring myself out of that. I had to push myself to the limit, push myself to talk to people and introduce myself, do things that I didn't want to do, you know, just take myself out of the box. And my meditation is through the breath. I think the prana breathing is very important. You can call it whatever you want. Some people ask me, what is my religion? What am I inspired? I feel like I've always wanted to be better than what I know, and also exploring my new possibilities of what life could be, but also using and having the best safe choices. I mean, having a child, sometimes it's so hard to see them cry. You don't want them hurt, but there's tough love at times. And being grounded like this tree right here, being rooted and firm as a woman with structure, with righteousness. I've been introduced with the Lemurian Healing Circle years ago from our dear friend and director, Tony Young, which you'll be able to meet soon. And he has brought me to this wonderful circle. I mean, amazing friends and authentic people who really want to teach the core values of heart-to-heart relationships. And you don't really find people like that who give healing for free, who feed the community as well for free, who bring people to their homes. So it's a prime example of what Aloha is. And I'm just so appreciative and honored to be part of that circle. I've learned the specifications of modalities of the circle, of prayer. Prayer is very important. It's what you eat, what's food for thought, it's who you surround yourself with, you know. Well, I've come from a past that's been a bit abusive, and I've needed a lot of internal healing as well as family healing. Ho'oponopono has been one of my best internal medicines within the Aina and the community, within family and thyself. I've started healing from the beginning, since I can't even remember. My family's been very strict on me, so I wasn't able to do many things when I was younger, and I feel like I haven't done that much things, but I feel that I am someone that is a quality community member that expresses the Aloha spirit in always forgiving and having compassion and having kuleana for my members and my family and my ohana, and we bring each other up as well as we find ways to help explore the variety of healing methods in helping our family members.
Okay, when you want to speak in front of a crowd, then you raise the volume. But you don't need to intimate setting. So the energy that you bring forth is basically the light of the Creator.
My name is Grant Ito, and I do energy healing. I scan the body, and whenever I feel I feel like a different feeling in the body, or I see like a dark space on the body, and I take it out. I send energy on that. I take out the energy and I replace it with light, the golden white light. It's called energy healing or hands-on healing, or you can do it in long distance in your meditation, in your dreams, or you can send your guides to send healing for you. And basically, in my mind, I see the person and I scan the body, or I go in person and scan the body. And if I have a feeling where the energy or the dis-ease is, and I concentrate on the energy on it, and to see if I can take it out. 25, 30 years ago, there was a guy named Richard Higashide, and he came to Hawaii selling condominiums in Caribbean. He made a lot of money, and so he decided to be a teacher. And so he came to Hawaii, and he started doing, he had a one-bedroom apartment, and he started doing psychic readings, or table tapping, as we used to call it, where the table rises up on two legs, and one is yes and two is no. And it grew where people were going in and out of his one-bedroom apartment. He decided to put on a seminar. So he did that for a couple of years. But he rented a house in Kahala where people would come and he would teach, and the students that was with him put in their interest or their 2 cents in with that. And the classes or seminars got bigger. As the group got bigger, we had to have a bigger space, so we rented the ballroom in the Ilikai, the Sheraton, and the other places. The people who were on this spiritual quest or metaphysical quest began doing Sai seminar. And the people from Sai seminar, their philosophy is to think, is to create. So decided to up it more and come do the seminars where they could, whatever they learned in Sai seminar, they bring it to the metaphysical. And a lot of people started doing that.
Chris has introduced me to a very intuitive master named Doss. His mentor has a wonderful space, a healing space called 3 a.m. in Kaka'ako that you should come and visit. This space was healing and soothing, and it feels like it just brings you back to somewhere that only spiritual healers go and can attain. It gives you this authentic feeling that certain things are preserved. Just his work, he's a carpenter, he's a yogi, he believes in having blessed food and blessed drinks and blessed people that could be blessed or that are blessed, and to share that to the community here in Hawaii, in Honolulu.
My name is Christopher Walney and I'm a Kung Fu practitioner. I practice here and I practice at the Kapi'olani Beach Park. I met Brad Das. He's a 78-year-old yoga instructor. He's been opened up the first yoga studio in Hawaii.
And Ganesha is yoga.
Ganesha is yoga?
Well, he is, because he comes from the mother, which is Pravati,
Yes.
Earth, the Muladhara. And that's where he resides, in his mother. And he is the first chakra. And so when we do yoga, it is because of our mother. This mother, the 5 elements, the bhutas.
Right.
So.
How did you get started with teaching yoga?
I was into drugs.
Huh.
Major drugs in Berkeley. I went to school there as an artist.
A wood artist, right?
No, I was a painter. I drew. I had a scholarship in drawing.
Is this your art as well?
This is all my art.
This is all your art. That is amazing.
This is a Gauguin. Yeah, but I was a druggie.
What type of, like, pothead?
No, not a pothead. I was more into window panes.
Oh.
Osley. I was more into Osley.
Oh.
I was more into acid. In those days, in the 60s, the expansion of the mind was very popular. So this chemist, and he was from Berkeley. He developed this acid called window pane.
Really?
Yeah, and it takes you to a very, very deep dimension. So I was involved with that for many years.
Did you see yourself in the past where you are now, knowing that you're going to be here, with that type of spiritual drug?
I don't know where I was. In the late 60s and 70s, early 70s, Berkeley and San Francisco was going through a renaissance, you might say. Yeah, it was a lot of reacting to the government of the United States. I think it's happening differently with men and women now. The younger generation are seeing themselves more of as keep out of the corporate world and go into the spiritual realm. So they're producing a lot of divine movements in their own way. And at that time, it was a violent time. It was the Vietnam War was a brutal war.
Oh yes.
And to many older men like me, it was brutal. And to harm another soul because you are in the United States government, in the army, wasn't the right action. So a lot of older men came back and they were just blown out, and they still are.
Do you believe in God?
I don't know about God. All I know is about love and how love feels and how peace feels inside my soul and my mind when I am peaceful. And that is the journey of that thought, which is the high consciousness, and just the awareness of that feeling takes me to where I want to be in terms of yoga. And I don't know what God is, and I don't care what God is. All I know that there's a beautiful light that we breathe, which is pranayama. And if you use it correctly, that force, that energy can heal you. It can keep your mind in a very beautiful place with yourself. It cleans the blood, it purifies the soul, and others can see your beauty through your peace. So that's God. If you want to place a name on it.
Dr. Bernie, we have another wonderful question. What got you involved? Yes, he wants to ask you, what did you and how did you get involved in the holistic wellness of acupuncture?
I got involved merely by accident. I was on my way to Mexico. Then I decided any school in the United States has got to be better than any school in Mexico, which was a mistake. Going to Mexico probably would have been better. But I turned around and went to the naturopathic school in Wichita, Kansas. And I got into that. I had a friend and she said, we need a doctor in the family. There's a naturopathic school in Seattle. Go over to Seattle and go to school. And in When I got there, there wasn't any more school there. I had moved down to Kansas, so I ended up going to Kansas. Acupuncture, when you ask about acupuncture, that's usually sticking people with a needle. And acupuncture is actually a French word, and it means poking them with an arrow. So
Really?
yeah, the puncture doesn't mean poke, it means arrow, and acu means poke.
Wow.
So then, or point. So then, in Chinese, it's called qinglo, or meridians and channels. So they don't care about the needle; they care more about the internal channels and the meridians and the points like that. So it's a very interesting thing. I kind of believe that I've been a natural healer for many lifetimes, and in doing so, it just naturally came out.
My name is Tony Young, and I was raised in a Catholic school and a Protestant church. So I got it on both sides. Both of my friends, both sets of friends, accused the other group of brainwashing me. But all that changed in the mid-90s when I was stood up on Valentine's Day. See, all this time I thought I was a nice guy. I just wanted a romantic relationship. I wanted a girlfriend since I was in 3rd grade. And then all of a sudden I'm treated like crap by some girl I barely knew. But we've been talking on the phone, and when she stood me up, it was out of the blue. I was completely shocked, and I had no idea, to this day, I had no idea what really happened. That night, I tried to kill myself. See, up till then, I thought I was the hero of my own romantic comedy. And I prayed. I asked God, why was he doing this to me? Why was he setting up this world so that I would become this horrible person? Because the only thing I could think of was hurting that back. The next day, I went to my old church and I said I quit. I could not believe in a God that would allow this world around me to happen and basically make me into this horrible person. I literally asked, God, do you want me to be a rapist? And then I went to a seminar and I met this psychic lady who said my soul was being like drifting in and out of different dimensions. Like I was being pulled into different worlds, different realities. And then I understood, at least partially. I think subconsciously I knew that something was wrong, especially my belief system. So I ended up going to a church called the Honolulu Church of Light, which practiced hands-on healing.
But now, you know, big difference.
Yeah. Is it from your breath, or how do you do that? How do you create such?
It's just developing, opening yourself up.
One thing I learned from that church was that we create our own reality. I don't know how I attracted a woman in my life that would have treated me so cruelly, but I did. I have to take some responsibility for it. Okay, I have to take all responsibility for it, more or less. I mean, and I began to realize that this old religious paradigm, the fear-based religion that if you sin, you gotta go to hell, and that Jesus died for our sins, I no longer accept that as truth. I think that to accept Jesus Christ as your Savior, to accept that He died for our sins, is a cop-out. Anybody can say, oh, I'm born again, I'm free, I can just do whatever I like now. And of course, it's not like that. We create our own reality to shape our own future. And when one is connected to one's higher self, you can accomplish anything.
The science about it is whether the person feels something like vibrations or healing or their body's getting heat. It would, and the person who's doing the healing has hot hands. Their palms get hot, and they send that energy. They send that energy to you, okay? And the science is how well they get better, or they have to be in a positive space where they see themselves getting healed. And the more positive they get, the more healing we send, and they get better. We do healing, but if it's really bad, you still have to see your doctor to give you more what do you call it? The doctor tells you if you're getting better, worse, or he'll be surprised if you're well.
It's mostly just breathing, opening yourself up through breathing, and it's literally all just breathing.
Key and hands-on healing is not hocus pocus, but there is a belief system. It's not just faith, there is some science behind it. And I believe the science has more to do with the circle that you're around, the people that are around you, supporting you. Because one thing I learned in life is that without real support, you're swimming in an ocean upstream with nobody around you.
Aloha, my name is Charmane with Live Aloha. We have Nancy McGee here, Wangmo, and we have her expertise in her wonderful living, her lifestyle. You won't believe how old she is, but she's been a great community leader in lusciously living her ways, and we want to know her tips on how we could be bettering our lives with her experience. Could you tell me a little bit more?
How long do I have?
Oh, you have a bit of time.
Aloha, I'm Nancy McGee Wangmo. I was born and raised in Portland, Oregon. I was the very first female yoga teacher in Portland, and from 1974 to 84 I taught Hatha yoga and vegetarian cooking for Portland Community College. I also owned a vegan restaurant called the Food Goddess Restaurant, International Natural Foods in Portland, Oregon. And luckily for me in 1984, they were tearing up the street for the light rail system, so I got to move to Hawaii in 1984. And since then, I've been a professional chef. I've taught cooking classes when I was in Kona. I taught healthy Pacific Rim cuisine. I was a finalist in Sam Choi's Poke Contest, and my poke recipes even in his Poke Cookbook.
So Nancy, do you believe the importance, and let us know what the importance is of being vegan, vegetarian?
I think the most important thing is to be healthy. And sometimes the vegan and the vegetarian lifestyle is not appropriate for certain body types and lifestyles. So right now, also being a vegan and a vegetarian, you have to look at another factor, which is called genetically engineered foods. So if you are a vegan or a vegetarian and you're eating GMOs, that's even worse than eating grain-fed beef.
Wow.
So these days, since the GMOs have invaded our food supply since 1994, and since Hawaii is ground zero for experimentation by the GMO companies like Monsanto, Bayer, Syngenta, they're actually doing their experiments in Hawaii to see what works and doesn't work for putting out their GMO products. So these days, if you're a vegan and you're eating soybeans, corn, canola oil, zucchini, yellow squash. If you're going to Whole Foods and you see a big old zucchini and it says Hawaiian grown, don't buy it. So the key is to buy organic. 80% of our food supply now is bioengineered. So it's important not to buy anything in cans, in boxes, anything that's been processed in a factory, anything that has a lot of ingredients that you cannot pronounce. So in order to be the best that we can be and the healthiest and the most energetic, it's important to consume a lot of dark green plants.
Well, the belief of some scientists saying that some GMOs are safe and there's no proof or evidence that there's nothing wrong with taking GMOs. What do you think about that?
There actually has been no human experimentation. It's all theory. The only experiments have been done on rats who get giant tumors and exploded intestinal systems. There has been no human trial with GMOs. When they say that it's safe to consume, and how do they know? So all you have to do is look at the uptake in things like digestive disorders, like irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's disease, children's emergency room visits because of digestive disorders, asthma, ADD, all kinds of things. Autism, off the charts and going more. And where does this all come from? Childhood cancers? Oh, we don't know where it comes from. It comes from pesticides. Pesticides have invaded all of our food. Even in the organic grains, they spray with glyphosate right before they harvest it because this can be used as a desiccant to dry out the grain so that it's easier to harvest. And you don't have to be an actual scientist. You have to pay attention, like I have for the last 45 years as an organic food chef. I first became an organic food chef because I had digestive problems when I was young. The food supply is poisoned on purpose. They're taking all of our health care away from us. There's a lot going on with the politics these days to get rid of a certain element of the population that the elite don't want. And through the food supply and through stratospheric aerosol injections, otherwise known as chemtrails, people better wake up because we're dying. Why?
Okay, Nancy, I would love to know what's your favorite tip or your favorite recipe or meal that you could share with us with Live Aloha.
What's really important is what you do in the beginning of the day, the first things that you put into your stomach. So I usually, I could say that my all-time favorite thing that I consume a quart of every day, I boil slices of fresh ginger root and cinnamon sticks together. And I use that as a basis for tea for other things because it completely cleanses your digestive system. It opens up your circulation, and they are both anti-inflammatory and anti-cancer. And so that's what I begin and end my day with. But I believe in green drinks and green protein drinks. So things that are like plant-based with superfoods like spirulina, blue-green algae, rice bran solubles, other things like that. And so I happen to have a very good source with a certain company that I work with where I can just sit at my computer anytime, day or night, put in my order, and it gets delivered to my mailbox, and I don't have to shop and go through those aisles and aisles of GM food.
Well, in 2009, I lived in a farm in Manoa Organic Garden, and me and Elko Evans had Manoa Organic Garden there at the Chinese Cemetery, which we've held Thankful Thursdays. We get to plant things and work on planting food, and we actually started and helped out with Fire Jam, which is every Thursday as well, now in Kaka'ako. But the thing, you should have been there. It was amazing. Just the people, just noticing the lifestyles when people look more vibrant and their energy is just off the charts. And I mean, no makeup, with makeup, they just look amazing. Their whole lifestyle and perception with life is different from someone who goes fast food, you know, and the relationship with themselves, with their community, with their families is just so much more healthier and open. Free range, almost, basically. Thank you, everyone, for watching Live Aloha, and we'll see you next time. And thank you, Nancy, so much for being here.
Oh, you're welcome. Anytime. I have a wealth of knowledge, and now I will reveal my age.
Yes, please
When people guess my age, they never guess the age that I am. And then when I say the real age, they say, oh, I can't believe it. You look so good. And my answer is, it didn't just happen. I was the person who invested in my health. I will be, on September 25th, 72 years old. So thank you, naysayers, that thought I was the health food nut all those years. Thank you.